Yes, we are. Alright. Hello once again, everyone. Yeah, yesterday I couldn't continue after my errands, but we are here on day 2, and I already have a few things in mind for today. We'll get as much content done here as we can, but the changes that I want to do are regarding some of the followers that I have, Argenta specifically.
The Emperor sets my path.
Since I'm running lasguns with her, I might just dedicate a build for that. So we're gonna have to respec her after this event, or quest, or whatever you want to call it. So I don't think these do anything. If my memory serves me, I am just trying to solve a cultist problem.
I still do not see our purpose in coming here.
Yeah.
Relax.
We'll do that. Also, I realized the position of my cam last stream was awful, but since I have no chat engagement whatsoever to complain about it, I'll just have to post that video the way it is, I'm afraid. But now I adjusted the places a few things, starting with the camera. So, moving on. The sounds of a heated discussion reverberate through the ship's bays. Lieutenant Avrilla Vent of the ship's enforcers is barring the path of a heavily built assault unit. And judging by their expressions and tone, the standoff has dragged on for some time already, and has now reached boiling point. I have my orders to put an end to the unrest and purge this sector. You can take your orders and shove them. This is my deck and my sector. There are only 3 people who can waltz in here without my express permission. The first officer, the rogue trader, and the Emperor himself. So not all my lessons fall on deaf ears. Abelard mutters in crabby approval. What does a crabby mean? He does not clarify whether he means Lieutenant Vent, the officer looming over her, or both. Your Lordship, noticing the 2 junior officers, snap to attention and salute. Their subordinates follow in suit a moment later. Okay. What's the situation? Your Lordship, my people have locked down the bay where the strikers are, including their leaders. We have the situation under control as far as resources allow. We encountered some locals on your way here. Their conduct was outrageous. They even tried to throw things at us. I want to speak to the strikers. I give the assault unit permission to open fire. Okay, that's a little excessive. Let's go with this one here. Abelard's mouth twists, but he restrains himself and says nothing. Right you are, Lord Captain. Allow me to wish you good luck. Alright. There's probably a few dialogue checks and whatnot, so I haven't even set up my officer. So, obviously we want to max fellowship. As for her navigator stuff, by the end of the game on my first playthrough, I picked them all. But now since we're on unfair, I'd like to be more strategic about it. Enemies damaged by the navigator. I think we'll use her more for buffing early, so let's see if there's anything that might... every turn, the navigator gives an additional action point every odd turn. Okay. This might be nice. Gonna favorite that. Every enemy that the navigator has in their sight has its dodge and hit chance reduced. It scales with perception. Now this is very nice. It means we could land more hits, but obviously we need to work on perception more. Hers is... it's not that bad so far. 5. Okay. Okay. Let's check our other options first, but I'm going to also favorite this. The navigator starts all turns including extra turns with 3 additional movement. No. Whenever the creature in combat gains an extra turn, the navigator gains a stack and +5 bonus to willpower until the end of combat. Wonderful, okay. The navigator makes all resistances tests with their willpower if it's higher than the base characteristic. The navigator's willpower is higher than their toughness. We're looking for stuff related to buffing so far. Willpower and all that jazz that scales with their damage stuff and navigator buffs we'll pick up later, so something that will serve us in the early game was much better. Enemies moved, okay, whenever they use their... This is nice also, but not yet. This is for survivability stuff. Whenever the navigator uses a navigator power that has not been used this combat, they gain perception. Pretty much, I gotta say, she is so good with her talents, but again, I am looking for something that complements an officer at the moment. Till the end of combat, enemies damaged by the navigator suffer an additional 5. Okay, that's something I'm looking for, but I was hoping for something other than resistance checks. And this is fantastic, but I think you get the most out of it once you start picking more talents in the future. Okay, well, I think we're gonna go with this one for now. I don't see any other options. As for this is very crucial. You need to seize the initiative. I don't care what people might say, but the sooner you start with your officers, the better your odds are. So, even if you fuck up like I do mid-combat. So, we're gonna go with that one. We've already picked that talent on this guy. So, I think focus is our best bet, because whenever we buff them now, they gain perception and ballistic skills for free. And any increases are best. So, with her, I'm gonna respec her anyway, because I went with muzzle velocity. If I'm gonna snipe more, I probably need to reload or something other than this. So I'm not gonna bother right now with her. Okay. Why can't I? What's wrong here? Complete or cancel another character. Oh, okay. Let's cancel that. Go back here. What did we pick last time? Okay. Nice. We want to focus more on our psyker shit, or this is something I hate about the game, I gotta say. It puts a thumbs up on certain talents, and these thumbs up icons were I think it's because of the people who played on the beta and they gathered the data of what's like the most common picks and stuff. So, for example, here it says that this is highly recommended, right? The problem is it kind of scales with intellect, and for sackers, generally speaking, you want to focus on willpower more. So this might be good early, but it's not going to scale like the rest of the things, right? So I'm going to skip on it. This is probably nice. When do we get an extra skill? Is that here? Yeah. Okay, we would probably pick this next, so willpower, and then here to complement the next level, I think we'll go with this one. This just makes her debuff them on a global scale without having like sight on them or anything. So, but just to, before we confirm, I want to see what if there's any other options that might be even better. More range is always nice, but I'm focusing more on buffs and debuffs at the moment. Yeah, okay. I think we'll go with this one. Okay. And for our melees, Sworn Enemy might be nice. But one of us with taunt is probably more ideal, right? So I'm gonna go with this, and then more athletics. And you, my friend. Right, so we want to get our pyromancy stuff rolling in. So if I remember, this was my second pick. The target does not stop burning, and no longer makes text to stop burning. Additionally, if the target is an ally, every melee attack that the ally makes inflicts burning. Yes, okay, definitely going with this one. So with this one, we can now start burning ourselves, and when we auto attack, we will also inflict fire damage. On top of all that, we don't have to reapply burning every time, because we're just going to be on fire forever, basically. Can't burn the switch, you know? Or wizard, whatever. I think I'm going to do warp on this guy. Yeah, okay. It's gonna be my warp person. She's gonna be the persuasion chick, and my demolitionist, athletics. I might change these two in the future, but we'll see. For now, this is fine. Okay, quick save. A dozen pairs of eyes stare apprehensively at you. The people before you are typical inhabitants of the lower decks. You take in their simple clothing, crude weapons, and faces that display varying levels of mutation, from the barely discernible to the strange to the outright grotesque. Lord Captain, you have come down to us. Yes, I have. Tell me what is troubling you. Why are you striking? We were attacked on the way. How do you explain that? Here's an explanation for you. The people have been pushed to their limits, and now they're lashing out. As if we don't know why these top deck units are being sent down here, like that one there, and the lieutenant won't let us pass. Our clans are all inside the bay that's been sealed off, but the lower decks are big. I'm sure there are some people who've had just about enough. We're getting it from all sides. The soldiers have encircled the ones who've risen up. A death squad has just arrived. It's no wonder folks are lashing out. And we pass the check. Their words seem sincere to you. Their body language and glances traded between them reveal the news of the attack has shocked them. Okay. Striking. That's news to us, your lordship. All we're doing is asking questions, saying what we think. Shut up, Rivet. Here's the deal, your lordship. Your damned enforcers are all over us down here, and they say that they're looking for cultists. One wrong word, and they're reaching for their batons, or batoons, whatever it's called. Their clubs, I guess. Okay, lost track. What the fuck? Yeah, there we go. If we want to punish someone, they turn off the heating to whole bays for a week at a time, so we get sick and freeze. In my clan, 2 little ones died from inflammation in their lungs, all because of those enforcers. Argenta does not interrupt the workers, but you see the sadness well in her eyes when the children's deaths are mentioned. She quietly whispers a requiem prayer and makes a sign over herself. It's all true. Vent is the only officer who stood up for us. It's clear as day who had a mother from the lower decks, and who grew up amidships, and has now no fellow feeling toward us. Your lordship, we're no villains here. We're honest workers or servants. We've plotted no disorder. We went on strike openly, and now we've got guns pointed at us. All we're doing is asking to be allowed to work in peace without being harassed. What are the options we got? The persecution standard apropos of nothing you say. I was told that one of you was found in possession of a cultist amulet, and that there are heretics hiding here. Abelard, do you have anything to add? We can go with that. I authorize the use of all necessary measures to locate Chaos Worshippers hiding in this sector. The specific steps taken by the officers were not reported to me. Nevertheless, I am certain that their actions were justified. Cultists are no drunken stevedores, whatever that means. They are the enemy and a threat to the ship. Neutralizing them demands decisive action. Okay, let's ask about the changes. Would you look at this? The exalted Lord Captain himself is asking us, bilge rats, what we want. Well, here's what. We want you to rein in your damned officers, to quit turning off the heat, and to stop battering everyone that moves. No, that's not it. We want the enforcers gone from here, and we want to be armed. Give arms, and we'll govern ourselves. We'll defend ourselves if these cultists do show their faces. I've been leader of my clan for 20 years now. Getting rid of these club-wielding thugs can only improve things around here. I don't know about that. You've gone too far, old Nan. They'll never let the maggots on the lower decks live without the enforcers breathing down their necks. They probably even insist on enforcers on the upper decks, too. As for weapons, what do we need them for? Before the first day's out, we'll have someone shooting their neighbor out of stupidity or drunkenness. There we go, that guy has a brain. We don't need that. If the enforcers stop hassling us, that'll be enough. In return, We'll find the scavengers who robbed the cultist bodies, and we'll talk to them one lower deck to another. If there are any more of those damned amulets about, we'll hand them over to the enforcers themselves, or ourselves. That is very reasonable, compared to arming the fucking lower decks, you know? You speak for yourself and your clan, and I'll speak for me and mine. I don't want empty gestures, I want real change. They'll promise us the world now, but as soon as the anointed one turns his back, these brutes will be on us even harder than before, all because we dared to speak out. The tall worker's eyes dart between the two arguing leaders. Every few seconds he opens his mouth as if planning to agree, but each time he falls silent, simply making a few vague noises of approval. Okay, we got a coercion check. Spreading anarchy on the ship is the first step toward embracing chaos. Putting weapons into untrained hands would be even worse. What's more, the enforcers are needed to maintain oversight and order. Withdraw those damned demands and we will consider the rest. Yeah, very reasonable. Old Nat, listen, the Lord Captain himself has come down to us and is offering concessions. And I don't know a single person in the whole of Depot 4 who's ever stood next to the rogue trader, let alone talk to them. Back down. Now's no time for you to be a stubborn old crone. Listen to us, old man. The 3 clans of Depot 4 ought to act as one. We've made our minds up. It's your turn to decide. Don't ask them to disband the enforcers or give us weapons. We don't need any of that. Okay, I kind of gained them on my side. That's cool. You two are ganging up on me. Is that so? So brave you are against an old woman, but I'll shut up. I will, indeed. I won't go against 2 clan leaders of my own. If you want to make peace with the enforcers, make your peace. That's great. Just fantastic, Lord Captain. We're all agreed. Well, it doesn't hurt to ask the thoughts of Abelard, right? Let's go and do that. The story about scavenging for boots and accidentally picking up a heretical amulet doesn't convince me. These people were moments away from rebelling and, possibly, becoming minions of the arch-enemy. We must not give them what they want, even if they did acquire something innocently. Purely out of their own stupidity, that does not mean they are not tainted with corruption. Okay. What begins as petty thievery can turn into a far graver problem. I have seen it before. In my second war, there was a sergeant in the Imperial Guard regiment that was stationed nearby. The sergeant took an ordinary pocket knife from the body of a heretic, and his whole unit lost their lives for it. When they finally managed to break into the barracks, they found not a single survivor, only the pocket knife, which had grown through all the rows of beds like a metal-choken vine. So, when it comes to scavengers, malcontents, strikers, or whatever they'll turn into next, my verdict is simple. Give them no quarter. Huh. Alright. I mean, I'm kind of cool with having the forces take a chill pill, you know, but giving them weapons and shit, obviously not. Okay, we don't want to execute everyone, we'll just go with this. Your lordship, thank you. You have not abandoned us lower deckers. You came yourself and settled everything. I'll tell my grandchildren about this. Alright. Of course, your lordship will root out any nasty business faster than the enforcers and will leave no stone unturned. Alright, when that problem's solved. Right? Let's hope so, at least. You know, my first playthrough, I don't
Would you look at that?
remember the option I picked,
watches over us.
I don't think this comes back to bite you in the ass, really. So, maybe if I do a heretical playthrough, I would try to execute everyone, but I'm pretty confident it's not gonna...
Let the faith guide my path to glory.
I have an urgent matter to discuss with Lord Captor. Please give us a moment. Abelard looks at you and his last vestiges of restraint vanish. Well, are you pleased with your investigation, Lord Captain? Okay. You kowtowed to the disloyal rabble, you believed their lies, and showed them leniency. Next time the ship is attacked by cultists, that rabble will welcome them with open arms and allow them to wreak whatever havoc they like, because they see you as a weak leader. Really? Is that how you see your future at the helm of the Von Valencius Protectorate? Whatever the fuck that means. There is some truth in your criticism. Why are you so angry? I solved the problem. Do not speak to your Lord Captain in that tone. Let's talk about your role in all this instead. You allowed this revolt to happen. Your actions practically guaranteed it would. Fuck yeah. I would have handled the situation myself had you not decided to intervene. Remember, Lord Captain Theodora? Do you think she ever set one slippered foot on the lower decks? No, she did not. Such matters were left to myself and the junior officers, while she dedicated herself to her grand designs for the Protectorate. As any true strategist, the rogue trader ought. Maybe if Theodora had spent more time on trifling matters, she wouldn't have wound up dead. There is a new Lord Captain aboard this ship now, and I will not repeat her mistake. I like that response, but let's check the others. I would be only too willing to trust in the Senescal and not fill my head with such matters, but the situation had spiraled out of your control, Abelard. Give me a reason why I should continue listening to your advice and trusting your judgment. Right now, I don't see any. Alright, I'm leaning towards this one. Abelard's face relaxes slightly. You're right, at least as concerns junior officers making complaints directly to you. And Abelard stands straight at attention. I lost my temper, Lord Captain, and I believe I ought to explain myself. The prosperity of the Von Valencius Protectorate is not just an empty phrase to me. I left the Imperial Navy for the chance to see it flourish. It was the most momentous decision of my life. I did it because I saw in Lord Captain Theodore's deeds the sign of true greatness. Rogue traders do not simply forge new routes and capture worlds, they create order out of anarchy. That creative impulse was entirely lacking during my time in the military. So I left behind everything I had known, everything my family had known. I come from a long line of officers, and I embarked upon this incredibly reckless venture. Lord Captain Theodora entrusted me with all the concerns she had no time for. She would go off on her flagship for long periods to distant frontiers on scouting voyages, and the advancement of the entire Protectorate rested on my shoulders. And then suddenly, everything that had been built over the years and years began to quake, rattling like a flimsy hanger on a seismically active world. One of the senior officers betrayed us all. The rogue trader was killed, and who knows what is happening on the planets. I tell you this honestly, without fear of appearing weak. All this has become as a grievous blow to me. I am not panicking or grieving because I cannot allow myself to panic or grieve. I am duty-bound to aid the new rogue trader, to aid you, to find your footing as quickly as possible. And to do that, I must insulate you from problems that in the past have been dealt with by tried and tested procedures set out in the ship's regulations. Procedures that were established long ago and functioned smoothly for decades cannot suddenly be deemed excess to requirements. Alright, here's the thing about... That was a long read, but... Here's the thing I like about the companions in this game. these missions, I guess if you want to call them, obviously show you the background of the character and whatnot, but also through your responses, you can shape their personality a bit to a degree. I don't understand how they're coded exactly, but I'll show you how through the character stuff. First, let's go with something here. Theodora trusted in the established procedures and she died. I won't make the same mistake. If you want to keep building the future of the Von Valencia's protectorate with me, stop living in the past. I understand, but you need to learn how to respect me as your Lord Captain. Accept it and start living in a new world. Nah, the prosperity of Von Valencia's protectorate is just as important to me. You are the only person who has comprehensive knowledge of how things are run on the ship. I think in the future I will follow your recommendations. That's a level-headed response, but I value what Theodora created, and I trust that this situation is an aberration in the ship's otherwise smooth operations. Since the established procedure are working, I see no reason to change them. I've seen plenty of sentiment and hand-wringing in recent days, but very little competence. I have no plans to rely on you. Okay. That is complete rejection. And this is trying to change his methods, I guess. I think I'll go with this one. We'll follow his recommendations. Try to, at least. I am glad you see the value in the foundations laid down by your illustrious predecessor. Why fix what it isn't broken? As for me, I shall endeavor not to cause you any further consternation. Okay. And now, please, let us leave the lower decks. If the rogue trader desires to stretch his legs, there are far more suitable places. Agreed. Okay. Let's get out of here. Then before I carry on to the next location, I just want to retrain Argenta to a more lasgun sniper focused build.